People are sharing the creepiest unsolved mysteries that they can't stop thinking about. So I decided to look into the details of each one. Brandon Swanson's case always boggled my mind. The fact that he alerted his parents that he was lost and needed help. They were on the phone with him, heading toward him, only to hear his last moments. To know they were so close is so terrifying. Recently, Reddit user @randomweeb asked the people of Ask Reddit to share the creepiest unsolved mystery that keeps them up at night. After reading through some of these, I will definitely not be sleeping soundly for the next couple of days. Here are the most bone-chilling cases. Warning: disturbing and graphic content ahead.
One. Kadesia Britain. Kadesia graduated Round Valley High School in 2012, which was no small feat. The reservation suffered from a statistically low graduation rate, but Kadesia defied the odds and had hopes of going to college and pursuing a sports-related career. Her family was sure she could do it. However, after graduation, Kadesia's life took a turn, and she started partying, using drugs on a regular basis, and spending time with people older than her. One such person was Nagy Fallis, a convicted felon, who Kadesia Britain met and started dating shortly after graduating. He had a long record of domestic violence, a kidnapping, and drug-related charges. Over the years leading up to her disappearance, Kadesia and Nagy's relationship grew increasingly violent and abusive, though at first, Kadesia assured her mom that he didn't hit her. This all changed on January 29, 2018, when Nagy violently assaulted Kadesia with a hammer. Kadesia dropped the charges 10 days later on February 7th. On February 10th, when her family members hadn't heard from Kadesia for a few days, they filed a missing persons report to the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office. During their investigation, a witness told officers that on the night of February 7, 2018, Kadesia was kidnapped by her ex-boyfriend, Nagy Fallis, and his accomplice, Antonia Bautista Dawson. According to this same witness, Fallis drove to the house where Kadesia was and demanded that she get into his black Mercedes sedan while holding a gun to her head and assaulting her. He and his accomplice were both apprehended after this incident, but nobody has seen or heard from Kadesia since this night. Law enforcement did not have enough evidence to charge Fallis, though they believe he is responsible for endangering Kadesia. Her family believes people know more about what happened, but are afraid to come forward for fear of retribution from within the Round Valley tribe community. Kadesia Britain was 23 years old at the time of her disappearance. She is 5'8" and 5'9" tall and weighed between 150 and 180 pounds. Kadesia has a tattoo on her right forearm of the word Wailaki, and she is sometimes referred to by her nickname Deej. She was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt, black t-shirt, and blue stretch pants. There is currently a reward of up to $10,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the individuals involved with Kadesia's disappearance. Two. Ariana Fitz. A 2-year-old goes missing, mother found murdered. Ariana Fitz is lovingly described by relatives as being a very energetic, curious, and bubbly child who was very intelligent and occasionally had a little bit of sass. Ariana was, by all accounts, a smart, curious, and beautiful little girl who had her whole life ahead of her, and her family misses her dearly. Ariana was 2 years old when she vanished. She was an only child, and her mother, Nicole Fitz, worked at Best Buy and would often travel 2 hours across town to get to and from work. While Nicole worked, Ariana would be left in the care of a set of sisters for babysitting. On April 1, 2016, Nicole had to leave work to go to Ariana's babysitter. However, Nicole would withdraw $600 from an ATM. Around 9:45 p.m. that evening, Nicole contacted her roommate and told her that she was going to Fresno, California, to meet a friend named Sam. None of Nicole's family or friends knew who Sam was. At 1:13 a.m. on April 2nd, Nicole updated her Facebook status writing, "Spending time with my 3-year-old, need this break." Many in Nicole's life believe that this Facebook status was not actually written by Nicole because Nicole would use proper grammar and spelling. The most telling sign of all is that Ariana was 2 years old at the time, not 3. Ariana's birthday was in September. By April 5th, both Ariana and Nicole would be reported missing by their family after no one was able to make contact with Nicole for 4 days. Unfortunately, there was not much progress on the case until 2017, when San Francisco police reported that searched and seized a vehicle they believe belonged to Helena Martin, one of Ariana's babysitters. On April 8, 2016, Nicole's remains were found in a shallow grave in McLaren Park in San Francisco, California. The grave had been covered by a piece of plywood, which had a symbol spray painted on top. At this time, investigators announced that they believed that Ariana was at risk, and Ariana remains missing to this day. 5 days later, the Federal Bureau of Investigation announced that they would be joining the search for Ariana. Three, Nancy Bret. Nancy Bret was a woman in her late 30s at the time of her disappearance. She was a daughter and sister who lived with her father and was deeply loved by her family. According to friends and family, she was kind, loving, and someone that they loved to be around. The victim was traveling with her at the time boyfriend to Bakersfield, California. During the road trip, Bret made a phone call to her sister stating that she was in distress. Her father suggested that Bret's boyfriend drop her off at an airport so she could fly home. After it was heard that Bret was asking her boyfriend how that sounded, the call was disconnected. When Bret's family called back, the boyfriend stated that she was sleeping. The boyfriend told Bret's family that they reached El Centro, California on November 19, 2015, where he dropped Bret off at a shopping center around 9:45 a.m. with $40 on November 20th. He stated that when he returned 2 hours later, she was nowhere to be seen. As of right now, there are no new leads that have been followed. It appears that the case is at a complete standstill. The family still believes that the boyfriend caused Bret's disappearance, and they believe that she never made it to California in the first place. Cruz believes that Bret fled to Mexico, but it does not appear that anything is currently being done to solve this disappearance. 4. Eileen Mischeloff. A 13-year-old disappears while walking home from school. A 13-year-old disappears without a trace. In 1989, the city of Dublin was viewed as a small, safe town with only 22,000 residents. People who lived there thought the suburb was a safe place to raise their children. But after Eileen Mischeloff mysteriously disappeared, this image of safety came crashing down. Eileen Mischeloff is a girl who was known for her commitment to her passions, especially figure skating. She trained for 30 hours after school every week and never missed a practice. She had dreams of becoming a pediatrician when she was older. On January 30th, 1989, Eileen never made it home from school. Eileen would leave school early in order to go home and pick up her skating equipment before heading over to Dublin, Iceland, where she had her practices. The walk was about 2 miles, and she was known to take a shortcut through John Mape Park. At approximately 4:00 p.m. that day, Eileen's skating coach came to pick her up from the Mischeloff house, but she was not there. No one knew Eileen was missing until her mother went to pick her up from skating practice, and she discovered that Eileen had never arrived. Eileen's family and community sprung into action. Her father looked for her throughout the night, and almost the entire police force was put on the case. The Dublin community began handing out hundreds of flyers. Eileen's mother waited at home in the hopes she would return on her own. During the search, Eileen's key fob was found near the entrance to John Mape Park. No other evidence of Eileen or her disappearance has been found, but it has been assumed she was kidnapped and taken against her will. perpetrators of other kidnappings in the area have been investigated as suspects in Eileen's case, but no one has ever been charged in connection to Eileen's disappearance. Notable suspects have been James A. DeVeggio and Eileen Mischeloff, who were arrested for kidnapping and murdering a college student. DeVeggio lived in Pleasanton, a city next to Dublin, at the time of Eileen's disappearance. David Emery Mish, who has been charged in the kidnapping and presumed murder of Michaela Garrecht in the nearby city of Hayward, has also been investigated in Eileen's disappearance. Today, Eileen has been missing for over 30 years. While her mother has passed away, none of her family has ever given up hope that Eileen will return home. The case has remained in the public view due to the continued efforts of the Dublin community and Eileen's family. Until 2021, they held a yearly remembrance walk on the anniversary of Eileen's disappearance. The case remains open, and there is a $100,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of the person responsible for Eileen's disappearance. At the time of her disappearance, Eileen had pierced ears and braces. She has freckles over her nose and cheeks and has a small lump on the inside of her left ankle. She was last seen wearing a charcoal gray Esprit pullover, polo sweater, a pink and charcoal gray skirt with horizontal stripes, and black low-top Keds sneakers. If you have any information regarding Eileen's case, please contact Dublin Police at 925-833-6670 or the FBI at 415-553-7400.